and thank you for visiting my channel, Eye on Racism. Today we're looking at Cynthia G and her views on the recent man who died, who was, I guess, a grand wizard or something like that of the KKK. Now, the thing is what she's discussing is not what a horrible person he was, which I would 100% agree with. His idealism is not the same as mine. So that would be one thing. If she was talking about him, great. What she's discussing, moreover, is the state of disrepair that the house was in, which it was in disgusting disrepair, and apparently the woman was an animal hoarder. Now, what the problem is that she claims, that all white people live in this filth. White supremacists all live in this filth. Well, I don't know about white supremacists. I don't think that, there's a standard for it. But what I do know is that most white people do not live in filth, because I am white. And I thoroughly disagree. So let's take a listen to what she says. Now, first and foremost, the problem that this woman has is she's an animal hoarder. Hoarding is a disease that does not just affect white people. Maybe it's more prominent because there's more white people in the world, so you see more white people doing it, or maybe because of the way they're spoken to and about. If they're hoarders, maybe in the black community they don't come out and position itself, talk about it as much. But let's hear what she has to say a little bit about this, and then we'll move on to a little evidence that not only white people can be hoarders. But let's see.
9 so far have tested positive for feline leukemia and will likely go to treatment facilities out of the state. 2 dogs were also rescued and sent for treatment at 5 Acres Animal Shelter in St. Charles. And you know that she was probably having sex with those dogs. You just know she was. The good news...
that was disgusting, and there was no reason for that. Why would you say she was having sex with her dogs? That's nasty, and bestiality is wrong, and I'm pretty certain most people don't do it. It takes a special mental illness to do that, and I don't think just your average person has the bestiality mental illness, but let's carry on.
News is that the majority of the cats were well fed, although ridden with fleas. Midwest Community Cat Alliance has set up a young caring site to raise money for their care and the cost of transporting them to other facilities as needed. The money will be distributed among the organizations that respond to pay for their treatment. Now, look at these photos. Look at how nasty this is, really. But these are superior people.
I don't think anyone would agree that they were superior.
Have an air freshener in here. I'm done with all this disgusting filth. If you don't get out of here. This is how supreme beings live, in the lap of just filthy luxury, in a trailer park somewhere in the backwoods hills of Missouri. Like,
Okay, I think we pretty much heard enough of her. So let's show a little bit of evidence that not just white people are hoarders, because she really does make it sound as though white people are just nothing but filth, and we live in these dilapidated homes that are disgusting, and it just this is a black woman. Her name is Claudie, and she is a hoarder, and she is on Hoarders. Let's see if we can see her house. Look at that. You see that? She lives in a nice home, but the inside is just terrible. I do have this on mute. I don't want any type of copyright strikes here. But, this shows that's not a white woman right there. And she's on an episode of Hoarders, and she is clearly hoarding. So let's move on to someone else. Her house was pretty disgusting. Would you agree? And look, it says compulsive hoarding is a mental disorder marked by an obsessive need to acquire and keep things, even if the items are worthless, hazardous, or unsanitary. That is a mental illness. Mental illness can hit anyone. You do not have to be of the white, race. It can reach black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Something happens in your life that makes you want to just acquire things, whether it be trash. You don't want to throw anything away. And then once you get to a certain state that your house is in, you give up because there's nothing much you can do after that. So let's look at, I only got a couple for instances for you. Let's see. We have this gentleman right here. He goes through the trash. He says that he wants to make, creative things, but instead his house just got overrun. And, he was being threatened with eviction because he lived in some type of public housing type thing, or maybe a Section 8 thing. But he's clearly not a white person, and he has this disorder. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that he has a disorder. He just needs some therapy and some time to be able to figure out, what's best for him. And it's just, unfortunately, life happens. And for some of us, it doesn't go so well. Things catch up with us. This is about a different woman. This is not about him. Let's see if we can see him. Here's him with the people that are coming to clean his house. And then when people come to clean their houses, it's a big struggle. They don't want to let go of the items, but, they have to. But let's move on from him. And let's see about this one. So this is also going to be a black woman. She doesn't appear that her house is trash, but she just has an overabundance of stuff, which is, a serious hoarding problem. She has a lot of clothes. So let's just go over this. Cynthia G has this mindset that all bad things come from white people. And I'm sorry, I don't agree with her. It just, I don't understand her way of thinking and her ideology, and sometimes I think to myself that she doesn't even believe it herself. Because how could you believe that just one race is just horrible? I understand that bad things happened in our past, and we're not trying to overlook them, we're not trying to ignore them. But what she does isn't helping. She has such a racist ideology that she just perpetuates it. She sends out that energy. In one of her videos, she said she wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning because she feels like she's got, her spirit's fighting something off. Her ideology is bringing major demons to her. I totally believe in demonology. I think the demons will, attach onto people who have negative personalities, and I really think Cynthia G needs some help with that. So let's all pray for her and hope that she gets some help with that. And let's realize that the problem that the KKK person's wife had was a mental illness, which is probably what caused her to kill her husband. Or maybe she didn't agree with her husband's ideology. There's many things that could have happened. He could have been abusive. I'm not sure, but all I can say is, I don't agree with saying a person is evil just because, they have a mental illness. So anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.